Hello class, this is Miss Gumiela, and we are going to be learning about the Sun, Earth, and Moon system for the moon phase patterns, tides, and seasons. To start, I want to tell you that you all have witnessed a moon phase, probably many times if you've looked up in the night sky before. So, along with our assignment that I have planned, we will be looking at the phases of the moon. And we will be doing this each night individually when you go home. And when you observe, please write 3 to 5 sentences about what you saw in the night sky. We will then have a class discussion each morning about what we witnessed and share aloud. If you took pictures, you are more than welcome to bring them in, just as long as they are printed. To start, let's go over some vocabulary. An eclipse is when a moon or planet moves into the shadow of one another. There is an eclipse of the sun and the moon. The lunar eclipse happens when the Earth gets in between the moon and the sun, which blocks light that usually comes from the moon. There are 2 types of lunar eclipse, total and partial, and the difference is that a total lunar eclipse is that the moon and the sun are perfectly opposite from one another. A partial lunar eclipse is when the part of the moon is in the Earth's shadow. A solar eclipse is when the moon is between the Earth and the moon. There are 3 types, which are total solar eclipse, partial solar eclipse, and an annular solar eclipse. A total solar eclipse is when the sun, moon, and Earth are perfectly matched in a line. A partial solar eclipse is when the 3 are not fully lined up, only partially. Now, an annular solar eclipse is when the moon is as far from the Earth as it can be, and it doesn't block the whole view of the sun. Moon phase patterns affect the Earth in different ways, like the tides. There are 2 types of tides, either low or high. High tide is when the gravitational pull of the moon is closer to the part of the Earth, which creates the gravitational pull on the water and causes higher tides. But when the moon is not close to the other part of the world, that gravitational pull is weaker, which in return produces low tides. When looking at the seasons, the reason for them is the connection between the sun and the Earth. The reasons rely on the axis tilt of the Earth and the direction of the planet in rotation of the sun. For example, when the northern hemisphere is tilted into direct sunlight, that is when the part of the world experiences summer, and also when the southern hemisphere is experiencing winter, because it is tilted away from the sun, causing indirect sunlight. So, there may be a few misconceptions you may have. One would be the seasons have to do with Earth's distance from the sun, and that would be false. You may think this is because simply the closer the Earth is to the sun, the hotter it is, and the colder it is means it will be far away from the sun. But the truth is that the Earth's axis is on a tilt. The distance from the sun and the Earth is not what causes this. It is just the tilt. When the northern hemisphere is tilted more toward the sun, the direct sunlight causes summer there, and the northern hemisphere experiences indirect sunlight, making it winter. Another misconception can be everywhere around the world has the same seasons at the same exact time, and that is false as well. You may think this because they don't see the Earth is on a tilt. Like I said before, it is. They may think that the whole world gets sunlight, so therefore they will all have summer at the same time. But because of the north, south, east, west hemispheres, since they are always tilted and the rotation of the Earth causes it to tilt closer to the sun, they experience summer, and the further side experiences indirect sunlight causing winter, while the other 2 are going to be experiencing spring and fall. Lastly, the phases of the moon are caused by the moon going in and out of the shadow of the Earth, and the eclipses are circular, and the Earth is also circular. False. You may think this because it can simply be that the Earth is an object, therefore it blocks light coming from the sun, which in turn can cause what the shapes of the moon look like. But the truth is, it depending on where the moon is in orbit will depend on the shape we see, because the moon reflects off the sun and not the earth. Above I have placed a link to read aloud a book that we have read in class. If you have missed it, click on the YouTube link and listen along. So for our lesson, I have planned this activity. You are to use models of the earth and the sun and the moon system to discover why moon phases occur. You will see a styrofoam ball to repeat and represent the moon, which will light by a single light source, which our source will be a flashlight in the classroom. To observe how different portions of the ball are illuminated as you hold it in various positions. You will be creating a complete series of phases matching the appearance of the moon, and then relating moon phases to the positions of Earth and the sun. When doing this activity, I would refer you use the correct vocabulary and terminology. So make sure you know what the names are of the phases of the moon. Thank you, and I look forward to having this lesson with you.